Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis. And now, the Outriders.
Hello, Outriders, and welcome to episode 131 of the Legion Outriders podcast, a podcast devoted to all things Star Wars and Legion. I'm Outrider Matt, and with me today is Dan. How you doing, Outrider Dan?
Oh, my skin is sunburnt. My feet and back are destroyed. My wallet is decimated. But I had a wonderful time this last few weeks.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we'll hear more about that. No John this week, as he was out traveling too, but we'd like to take a second to thank all our Patreons that make recording and publishing the show possible. And if you'd like to sponsor us, please head over to patreon.com/Legion Outriders. On today's episode, we have news, Star Wars and Legion related, an interview with Zane, a.k.a. Hot and Frosty, or Hot and Tasty for his friends, who's here to give us the lowdown on last week's Adepticon. But first, yes, we do apologize because it has been a little bit of time since the last episode. There was a kind of a confluence of events with I was out of state, still doing some house hunting. Dan had that big Disney World trip, and then John was in Colorado. He just got back too, but he's completely wiped out as well. But Dan's the tougher individual, and he's the one that made it out today.
Calling me tougher, he's the one who did the half marathon, John.
Yeah, so it's really crazy, but he would kind of wimp out on this one. No, I'm just kidding. He just drove back from Colorado yesterday. He was out there for like a week and a half doing ski shoots for the VA and things like that.
Must be nice.
So, yeah, he's put some pretty cool pictures up. I'm sure we'll get all that. Speaking of Adepticon, we've got news from that, but first, Dan, what can you tell us about what's out there happening in the universe?
Well, the Kenobi release date moved.
I'm very sad about that.
Not so. I don't think it's that bad.
It's not that bad, except for it was supposed to be 45 years to the day from the premiere of the original Star Wars, so it kind of loses out on that. I have a feeling, so it's going to be on the 27th. They're going to be doing 2 episodes. I will be at Star Wars Celebration at that time. I expect that they're going to have a screening room set aside for us to kind of watch it there.
And no official announcement on why the date moved, but I have a big feeling that's probably why.
Yeah.
Because, they didn't want to do it right at the beginning of Celebration. And then, So, having that good, touch point, that good, focus point that they can bring in. They can do panels beforehand, teasing things, I'm sure. We'll have to get the big report from you once you come back.
Yeah, I hope Ewan McGregor is there. That would be so great.
Oh, yeah.
Just to even look at him from 300 yards away up on a stage, that would be amazing. What else we got out there, bud?
Well, yes. So I made a off-planet trip over to Batuu, Eastern Batuu.
Did you take the Star Cruiser?
Yes, of course. No, I didn't take, unfortunately, the Halcyon as much as I'd like to, because
someday, buddy.
I'm not going to financially recover from this trip, let alone from if I had gone there. But caught the Star Tours shuttle over there, had some crazy golden protocol droid flying it. But it was better back in the days when they had RX droids flying these things. But
man, there's just no pleasing you, I guess.
There isn't. But caught Rise of the Resistance, caught Smuggler's Run, built my lightsaber.
So you were at Disney World.
Oh yeah. So Oh well, we did the whole because it was going with family. So yes, I didn't get to choose when this went. I was unceremoniously told, okay, we're going these days.
So you're like, oh man.
Yeah,
because you haven't done any of the Black Spire outposts.
No, I had actually not. The last time I was at a Disney park was literally a month before Galaxy's Edge opened.
Oh, okay. And again, so 2019,
17.
Wait, 17 was it?
17?
No,
I will have to go back to my archives.
Okay. Yeah, anyways,
but yes, no, I took pictures of me in front of the construction wall saying, "Hey, let me in."
I remember that. Yeah. That's right.
But again, that was another family trip saying, "Hey, we're taking the nieces and all the other people, all the other family members at this particular time." But anyway, so finally got to see it all. It was great. We, in addition to, of course, Hollywood Studios out there, we did Kennedy Space Center, Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and then both Universal Parks, Universal Studios, and Islands of Adventure. So
you did your own half marathon probably every single day you were there.
Yeah, no, I should pull my step count.
That'd be really interesting to see. Yeah.
But yes, no, it was fun. Though, of course, the only day that I of course went with the group, I helped out because I'm gonna be honest with you, nobody else like strategized this trip of like.
Oh,
I got the
being
question of
responsible
what's a lightning lane and
no.
should I get it? And I had to try to introduce them to magic bands. So yeah, let's
Nice.
just say them trying to get in the park on their phones the first day. They're like, no, we're going to the gift shop right in the front and buying everyone magic bands. So just to get.
Did you get the Genie Plus? Did you guys
Oh,
chill
of course,
out for that?
we had. I mean, it was our big trip, so yes, we did chill out for that.
Oh, man.
Yes, and paid for the I'm blanking on the Avatar ride, Flight of Passage. Paid for that one because that was a paid.
I
extra
forgot
paid
that's
one.
a thing.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting Pandora.
Well,
is
Pandora
a-
was actually like the theming was very good. The food court they have there was actually the best food I had on that trip.
all the vegan meals possible.
No, I mean it had a roast beef chicken like thing, and of course it was normal food but arranged in kind of this alien-esque way. But it was really good.
Tentacles
actually.
kind of hanging
Yes,
out of
exactly.
them. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the whole Pandora area was actually themed very well.
That's cool.
It was very interactive with since it's now out of COVID, all the little touch things are on and everything's
okay.
going. So
They're really playing the long game on waiting for that next Avatar movie, I guess.
yeah, that was supposed to be interweave with the next Star Wars trilogy, but that keeps getting delayed alongside
Wait,
the
what?
next three. Yeah.
No, that's crazy
yeah.
conspiracy theory
Anyway,
stuff.
well, no, not like interweave as in story, as in
Oh,
it
okay.
was 1 year Star Wars and 1 year Avatar, next year Star Wars and next year Avatar, and
Oh,
next year.
okay. Oof, man, you were sending
No,
panic
no, they weren't gonna
signals through my chest
Connect
here.
them there anyway.
So,
yeah.
okay, the important question, though. What color lightsaber?
Well, I did post pictures on the Outrider Discord for all of our patrons.
You can probably put it up on Facebook, too.
I should put it up on
Yeah.
Facebook, actually. But yes, of course, when I walked up and they're like, oh, yeah, so which theme do you want? I'm like, Power and Control, of course.
Of
Come
course.
on. I was actually trying to goad them a little bit to try and get their responses because you know how they're supposed to be very scripted there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I built it with the red crystal, and the person leading the thing walks around. Oh, what color crystal did you get? And I'm like, well, just red. Of course. She's like, oh, well, it's great to have variety. I'm like, really? I can't even
They
get you
didn't
off
give
script.
you
I couldn't tilt
oh,
you.
yeah.
I even went the.
Oh, you were like Darth Vader or something
Yeah,
like
exactly. Like I said, I was trying to get them off script, and even the walk around Vi Marathi character.
that. Uh-huh.
I was actually seeking her out on purpose because I know it's obscure. I don't know how many of our listeners have actually read the book that she's in.
Which one?
Huh? The original Black Spire book.
Oh, I never
when
did.
they were first doing the
Yeah.
media content for this. Well, she works with a First Order stormtrooper named Cardinal, which was an all red stormtrooper that was replaced by Phasma. Spoilers for an old book, I know. So I actually shout because they were still doing the walk around characters up on the catwalks. So
Yeah.
I shouted up to her. I'm like, "Hey, what happened to Cardinal?" And she's like, "Oh, he's around." I'm like, I can't even tilt these people. They're like they have such generic answers.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Let's save that for the Star Cruiser.
Yeah. I said I want to mess with those actors so much.
I want to watch you do that.
Yes.
But, well, that sounds awesome, bud.
Yeah, it was great. And like I said, since it was the whole family trip, I told them on Hollywood Studios Day, I have my own agenda. You all have fun. So myself and my lovely significant other, we went off and we hit literally everything on that side of the park.
Sweet.
And unfortunately, I got reports back from the other side of the family that Toy Story Land did not go well because there was like no shade over there. But
Ooh, yeah, that's rough.
but yeah, no, like I said, had a wonderful time. Of course, with the Universal side, the whole Harry Potter thing too was fun. I'm not as into it as other members of my family are, but it was still fun. Butterbeer, surprisingly good. I
mean, you cram enough sugar in anything.
I thought it would be over sugar, but
Yeah.
actually it was just
Oh,
it was
really?
perfect balance.
Oh,
And
okay.
anyway, I ended up buying a couple extra for myself. But anyway,
Nice.
they need an alcoholic version.
So yeah, then more beer in the butterbeer.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
I know you were also participating in the skirmish league. Were
Yes.
you able to finish that up before you left?
so I actually purposely reached out to everyone in my pod saying, hey, I'm going to be out of town, so I need these games done. So I cranked out all 3 games literally in the first week and a half.
Oh, wow. How'd you do?
I did 2 and 1, so
Okay,
decently.
nice.
I did lose to the other Daniel,
Areko?
Areko, who was running some Wookiees and yeah, he kind of overwhelmed my my eWebs. But the other 2 games that I played, I found out the best command cards for my, not command cards, battle cards for mine is definitely Elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's basically throw the standbys up, come at me, bro. So I got Elimination on my second. Well, Elimination, yeah, it's the only way you're scoring is killing.
Okay,
So yeah, so I just totally annihilated my other 2 opponents on that. So it was fun though. So
that's good.
I got those out. With the league is still going on, so the games are getting wrapped up right now. So I'll have to check in with Areco because I just literally landed as of recording yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm still
you still got
up.
a little bit of that Florida sunburn going.
So yeah, Florida sunburn, and I'm on East Coast time, so I'm still adjusting to that. And
you're probably ready for lunch right now.
I am. So
okay, so
anyway.
we also got some updates on the Shadow Collective.
Yeah. By the way, 299 days to LVO.
I thought we'd get past it. You were off your game. Damn. That's what I get for hoping.
But of course, we have Adepticon coming up. Well, we just had Adepticon, and we'll be hearing more about that later in the show.
Yes.
But what did come out, and luckily I was able to catch this, just, checking the Facebooks, at nights between parks. Looks like our good friends over at the French Asmodee store. Hey,
Vive la France.
Vive la France. Thank you for your help. Dropped photos of all the packaging for all of the stuff coming out in the Shadow Collective wave, which included some things we had not had officially announced yet.
Very exciting stuff.
So, of course, the main box packaging was shown. I think it was shown a little bit earlier as well. That leaked in a couple slides. And also the individual unit packs for both the Pikes, which we had seen before on the stream. But we did also get the unit pack for the Black Sun, which, showing the back of that package, will work with either CIS or Empire. So,
wow. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. They're bad guys working for other bad guys, so...
but so are the Pikes, but of course they like money.
Yeah, that's true too.
But one thing we didn't know before was a new Commander expansion is coming out for Gar Saxon. So the Super Commando that worked with Maul on there.
Yep.
So if you want to run Shadow Collective and not run Maul, I don't know why you would. Maul is awesome.
Maul is pretty awesome. Maybe Gar Saxon will be awesome. Do we actually get any stats on him?
No stats, just a picture of the box.
Fact that he's there,
The pictures of the model, which shows him either helmeted or unhelmeted, or with either a long rifle or a pistol and a little personal shield. Mm-hmm. And whoever did the paint job on that did an amazing job on that personal shield.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So, so you got another commander option there. And 2 interesting packs, an accessory kit. Which, according...
so like bandanas and bracelets and things like that?
Not quite.
Okay. Oh, okay. Johnny Depp is so disappointed.
Thank you to some people on the Facebook who do speak French or are good enough with Google Translate to actually translate the content.
I can copy-paste. Yeah.
But apparently it comes with battle cards. It comes with the generic command cards. It does come with range rulers and movement tools.
So this is a proper starter set.
Basically, yeah. So basically everything that came in the core set that wasn't part of an army is. So, I'm curious if this will do... Are you going to be
getting this?
I mean, I have all these parts for my previous stuff, so it's not a must-buy.
Right.
But someone buying in as the Shadow Collective as their first kit, and I hope this sends the direction that future Battle Forces as starter kits will be, because they'll just have this accessory kit and say, hey, buy this Battle Force, buy the starter kit. I would think
so. Based on what I know for what they did when they were working at Privateer Press, this is absolutely the direction they probably want to be going in. And I love those little Battle Forces, battle boxes, things like that, so you get like a quick start. I mean, GW does the same thing with their little starter boxes as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And they also showed off the Card Pack 2, which, of course...
oh, boy! Card Pack 2!
Well, I mean... I don't know about everyone else that collects just one faction out there. I could list all these force powers that Empire doesn't have access to. We don't have Force Lift. We don't have Force Speed. I don't have Force Barrier in any Empire. We were hoping an Inquisitor pack would come out to have all these things. But the Card Pack 2, predominantly on the front of the art, though, it's got Boba, it's got Cad, it's got Bosk, it's got the Marauders from Mando, the ones that had that ATST.
Oh,
in the Fishing Village episode. And it's got a
Space Orcs.
Space Orcs.
But not like the,
No,
the jokey ones.
They're Clatoonians, the dog face guys.
Yeah. Sporks.
And it's got a an interesting looking Weequay gentleman, so I'm hoping there's some Hondo connections here. I love me some Hondo. Saw the Hondo animatronic. He looks amazing.
Yeah,
But
he
yes.
does, doesn't he? Yeah. I have many stories to tell.
Yes,
so
yes.
many of them true.
And one other interesting thing on all these boxes, there is a new icon for Mercenary. So they got the 4
Because
main
they're getting
factions.
all revamped. So.
Yep, so they're all getting revamped. So, yeah, we're looking forward to seeing more previews for this stuff.
Oh, so exciting. I'm getting a Shadow Collective box.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Are you getting a Shadow Collective box?
Since there's so many things that, even without knowing all the details at least what details we do know, I mean, I can use Pikes.
Yeah.
I can use Black Sun. And hey, if hopefully Gar Saxon will have some sort of, because he was, an Imperial Super Commando.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll have some sort of Imperial connection as well. Though on his box, he does not have any Force organization or, any other factions on his actual box other than the Mercenary. So I'm curious if he's going to be Shadow Collective only.
I feel like Gar Saxon and Callus would be like best bros, kind of like Step Brothers style,
Do we just become best friends?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So
you have to call me Nighthawk. Only if you call me Dragon.
So yeah, interesting leaks. I mean, lots more pictures of the models. The one thing that's kind of throwing me off, though, is...
What's that?
The pictures of the boxes, on the front panel of these is just pictures of the models.
Yeah.
That art, and the sides of the boxes have the art. But the front is just pictures of the models, and I'm like, that's just...
I mean, they're nicely painted.
They're nicely painted.
Staged. I like the art, though.
The art, and it was kind of unique.
Put the models on the back so people know exactly what they look like.
Because the gray models on the back, it's a little redundant having the models on both sides.
There's beautiful art available for this game.
Yeah.
And,
And I think that, and I maybe it's because it feels too GW to me, and maybe because I like custom paint jobs. This kind of sets a standard of you should paint it this way. I don't know if I'm taking it too.
Honestly, I know people that are like that, so absolutely they will paint by numbers that stuff. I could see where for facing, like if you're not facing out your product on the shelves and you're just bookending, then having the art there so it's a little, you can it's eye-catching, but maybe they could have done a wraparound or something. But anyways, they're going in a new direction with it.
Yeah, so they're going in a new direction. I mean, and interesting, the Gar Saxon box, which is just a commander box. It's like a
that
little
looks
card
cool.
box. Does have the art and then the mini in front of it. So there's no consistency.
Yeah, it might be part of the changeover stuff.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that this is like these are pre-production samples or something.
That could be as well. Yeah, they weren't supposed to be released, so that we could be seeing unfinished products.
It's on as the French Asmodee web store for pre-order. So like these are the things you're using to sell it. I don't know. So hopefully we'll see when we get them. I've already been bugging our friendly local game store owner to, number one, pick up the Unnatural Resources kit. I actually sent him a picture of the box saying, order this.
Yeah. I actually talked with him last week, too, and he's getting multiple copies. So.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And then he's going to have to order a lot of the Shadow Collective product.
Yeah, I'm down for a box. You didn't answer me. Are you getting a box?
Oh, yes. No.
Okay. You are.
I think the core box is a good value. Obviously, they haven't released... You know what? I did not write that down from the French store as what their price points were.
It's going to be in euros, too, so it could be very different.
But yeah, I mean, logically, all core sets are the best value.
Yeah.
So, of course, you pick up a core set on there, and yeah.
But yeah, more details on that hopefully coming up. We'll get some more information. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with our interview with Zane about Adepticon. So we'll see you in just a few moments. Hey guys, Matt here to tell you about our friends over at 6UP Supply. If you're like me and don't have access to your own 3D printers, 6UP Supply has you covered with a whole suite of printing services to bring those awesome files to life. The Outriders are proud to be partnered with 6UP, and you could find special themed terrain, gear, and tokens with a big discount for Patreon members in the Outrider Central section of the website. And that's not all. You can also get terrain bases, game supplies, tools, LED kits, and more. Stuff is being added all the time. So stop by the number 6upsupply.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER to save 10% on your next order, and let them help you up your game.
You are receiving the Legion Outriders podcast. Ending the transmission now would be most unfortunate. And now, the Outriders.
Welcome back, Outriders. Matt, Dan, and joining us on the show right now is Mr. Zane, hot and frosty on the Discord. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Not too bad.
Right on. He's actually much more lively than this. He's being very mellow right now. I think he's trying not to come on too strong. But no, it's really good to have you, man. We've hung out at events before, gotten to know each other a little bit, and you just went to Adepticon. And I wanted to get your take on how things went, which events you got into, and all that. But Mr. Hot and Tasty, what do you got for us? Which events did you play in this time?
I played in everything that they had for Legion there. And I will say up front, this is my first Adepticon. I'm pretty new to the competitive scene in general, and so I'm kind of like trying to make my way around, seeing all these cons that everybody talks about. And at LVO, everybody was like, oh, Adepticon. And I was like, okay, I'm going to see if I can go to this. And it just turned out the last minute I was able to go. And yeah, this, like, LVO is awesome for the Vegas scene and all you guys out there. But Adepticon is like, holy smokes, that's just a crazy place. Like, just over and above my expectations of what was going on. All the guys that were there, everybody I met, just super cool. So straight off the bat, that Adepticon was fantastic, and now I'm probably going to have to go every single year.
Oh, wow, that good. Okay.
Yeah.
I know I tried to go 2 years ago, right as everything got, well, we were still expecting a 2-week lockdown would be fine and we'd be able to go to Adepticon. Ended up using my ticket for the Lone Star Open instead, but I might need to think about trying to go up and hit that out. You're saying it's worth it?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's very much worth it. And like I love the painting aspect of the entire hobby, and going up and seeing all of the Golden Demon stuff for those guys that paint that, just mind blowing. I mean, I was like, I thought I painted okay. And I'm like, well, pick up my preschool paintbrush and
just finger paint all your stuff on there. Yeah. That, looking at what the professional painters do, that way just lies madness, absolutely, because this kind of stuff they do for those Golden Demons, ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, it was absolutely unreal, seeing all that stuff. But no, so I played. So the first thing I played was the Skirmish tournament that they had on Thursday.
Okay,
I've actually never played Skirmish before, so this was kind of my first foray into it.
Really? Nice.
I was messaging some guys and I was like, what's the average activation count for Skirmish? I have no idea. I'm like, 5 guys, 10 guys?
12.
I don't know. Like, do I load stuff up? I'm not sure. And so I went with I think I had a 6 activation Rebel list, playing Han, Chewie, an AA5, some loaded fleets, and then Rebels with some specialists.
That sounds pretty solid.
Yeah, that is solid for Skirmish.
Yeah, I went 2-2 in Skirmish. So I was pretty happy with that, for that being my first ever like Skirmish tournament or games at all. I kind of was like, I know how to play Legion, so Skirmish is just diet regular Legion. So and so
slim fast Legion.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But no, I liked it because you get more board space to work with. You're not so like crowded feeling, it's a little more kind of casual. Like, yes, it's a tournament, but it's casual. Come to find out that everybody who wants to bring stuff against armor just brings it to Skirmish. And my AA5, the first match I played was against 2 Spider Ions, and I was like, well, that guy needs to just get up there and just probably sit there the rest of the game. And that's exactly what happened. I think he melted off the board turn 1, and then
did you get any Vaders?
No, I didn't. I did see some, but I didn't.
That's always the one I expect to see in a skirmish, is like Papa Vader coming out there.
Yeah. No, there was definitely some Vader, which is kind of nice to see, because Vader's kind of been like on people's shelves for a while. So the fact that he's climbing back down is pretty awesome. But yeah, I played. So the first game I played against was against Jeff, and he did awesome with those Spider Ions. I mean, like, once he had that bus melted, everything else just kind of fell in line Han kept ducking out,
Just-
jumping out, and, like shooting, and then getting blasted himself. And so I was like, oh, this isn't working so well. And I've never played Han and Chewie, so trying to get their synergy together was new for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Han is so good right now.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you just get those two hits in, like you're melting 4 models off the board. If people don't have cover or anything, so it's like it works out really well if you can get some good shots in for sure. Yeah, and then I played some clones with an ISP against James. That one came down to points, but it was really, really good.
What kind of scenario were you playing?
That one was elimination.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so he had me initially. Killed 2 of my guys. One of them was my bus. That thing was gone pretty quick. With his ISP flew up on top of a building. It was just like raining fire down, and I was like, oh, "There's nothing I can do here with this." And so that
You can
so
suffer.
Bus blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bus blew up turn 2 on that one. So I was like, okay, maybe this isn't such a great list. But yeah, we came down tying on objective scores 2-2, and then wound up going to points, and it was. I had killed 184 and he'd killed 171, so it was really close.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you have on your bus?
I had Ryder Azadi, because my plan was to just like tap that guy and just like roll him up there as fast as possible and get the fleets out and just kind of cause chaos in the middle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The quad laser and the tactician.
It's a battle bus.
So, yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
I was kind of back and forth on the droid, the gonk droid, or the tactician. I was like, well, Rebels need some aims, so we'll just stick with that and hope the meat of the bus lasts. And nope, people carved that up pretty quick.
Okay, so you might have shifted your assessment on that one.
Yeah. Game 3. I'm trying to remember. Game 3. At that point, I was kind of like, what am I doing with this list? What do I need to play better? I can't remember what my game 3 was. Game 4, I played against a Iden strike team ISF against Keegan, and
Kegels. Okay.
she, a different Keegan. I think.
Oh, damn! I was like, I didn't hear he was out there. Okay.
No. On Discord, I think they're JD12. On there.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, and so so I played against
Sorry,
her.
other
and,
Keegan.
she almost killed Chewbacca like middle of turn 2. Because everything could see him, and she was just sniping and pouring in crits, and Chewie was like, I'm not going to save right now. So before I even got to move my bus, I was like, fleets, out of the bus. Everybody out of the bus. Chewie, get into the bus. So Chewie got in the bus with 1 wound left and rode around the entire game in the bus. And I was like, okay, this is where you're going to be until the very end. So, but no, skirmish was a lot of fun. I will definitely be playing more skirmish tournaments just for the kind of loose, atmosphere that comes with it. And just, like they said, I think they had promoted it as, knock off the rust and dust and, get your Legion back in before you play the actual competition.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped. I think it really helped just like playing some kind of fun casual games like that in a tournament style setting to then be ready for the next day, because usually that first day you're always like dropping dice everywhere and cards are shuffling around and you don't know what's what, and so skirmish was a lot of fun.
It can be a nice icebreaker too to get down there, start rolling dice, hanging out with people, that kind of thing too.
Yeah,
I like the idea of having the AA5 maybe with like a giant red cross on the side, Wookiee ambulance, just trying to keep them out of the way. But,
yes, it's the Geneva Convention. You can't shoot this bus.
You can't do it now.
Yeah,
you spider droids, stop it.
Yeah, you quit.
So that was your Thursday. What else did you get up to?
So Friday was the actual start of the competition championship, where we kind of found out last minute that they were handing out Worlds qualifiers to this, and so it kind of revamped some of the competition, or amped up, I should say, because there was definitely like at LVO and LSO and stuff like that, like you're definitely playing a competitive game, but you can kind of tell everybody's just like, yeah, look, we're in Vegas, like it's chill, nothing cool, happening right now. It's just playing some Legion. And Adepticon definitely had this air of like, everybody was like, I am playing my best list to get first place. And I was like, well, I'm playing the same thing I've been playing for the last year, so let's see how this goes. Yeah, so that was
You
Friday.
just took your skirmish list. You're like, nah, it'll be fine.
That's
I'll play down 300 points.
300 point bid.
I almost thought about like, well, that'd be nice if I could switch some things out now that I like the whole Han Chewie thing. But I was like, it's already locked in. We'll just go with what I got. So in the competition competitive scene, I went 1-3. So, but
what kind of list did you bring for that?
So very similar to my skirmish, I had an AA5 that was running Shriv, Tactician, Gonk Droid, and the critical laser. And that was more for just like, I got points, I'll just put that on there, Opluke, R2D2, some loaded fleets again, 4 rebels with an extra trooper, and then 2 FD turrets.
Man after Matt's heart here.
Yeah, honestly, it's about 90% of the list I remember beating my booty when we played at Lone Star. So I don't think you had. I think you had 1 FD. I don't think you had 2.
No, I had. Yeah, I had 2 then.
You had 2. Okay.
But the only thing I changed was from LSO and LVO was I took off Jedi Mind Trick on Luke and added Saber Throw, because I was like, after LVO, everybody's going to be playing droids. I can't suppress droids and do the whole serve your master well with it. So I was like, I'm just going to try and throw Saber more and get some more wounds that way. So yeah, pretty much the same thing I'd been running, which is really funny because there was a guy who was there. His name was Brian. He was running triple FD turrets with 2 land speeders, Opluke, and 3 sets of fleets. And he went, I think the only game he lost to was Luke Cook. And that was a pretty close game. So wow. I was like, man, I've been running FD turrets since Lone Star of last year. And I was like, I was so close to tapping the potential. I was like, I just needed a 3rd one.
That was it. That was the thing that would put you over the top there. Damn.
Yeah. So I was like, man, but
yeah, we had heard reports of the triple FD list just wrecking face, and it got a smile from me, I must say.
Yeah, no, it was he played them really well. I've watched some of his stream from AdeptCon. He got put up on the stream table, so I kind of saw how he was deploying and using them and stuff. Very much like I was with some area denial, but having that 3rd one in there really kind of like makes him that much scarier. But yeah, so
do you know if he was running generators or?
I'm not sure if he was or not.
I'm always curious about those since they're really, really cheap now. But anyway,
yeah,
sorry, that's not what we're here to talk about.
So my first game, I played against Zeus Juice on the Discord. He goes by, I think he's Matt, and then he lives in Vancouver. I think Zeus Juice, I think he got 4th overall.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
Third.
Okay. Yeah, I knew he was top 4 for sure. He was running Opluke with 2 sets of snipers, a bunch of rebel troopers with 2 officers, and I think the rebel troopers had captains on them, if I remember correctly. It was insane because I shot both FD turrets, which had the impact generator on it, so you get that extra black dice for 6. I shot both of those and all 4 of my rebel squads, which are 5 black dice per squad. All of those squads at 1 rebel trooper unit that was in cover with 1 to 2 dodges, and all of those shots I only killed 2 models. And so
wow.
So I was like, okie dokie. It was 1, I was rolling terrible. 2, the cover and the dodges, he was just like, yep, those are gone. And I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I suppressed the heck out of them, but
that's like, always the worst feeling. You're just like, and then nothing happens.
Yeah, because something inside of me was like, shoot at something else. And I was like, but those guys are suppressed, and I'll just stack suppression on them at least. Yeah, no, it didn't matter.
Having the trooper captain with the situational awareness, nimble, and the officers floating around with vigilance on them.
Yes.
That's just crazy.
No, he piloted that list so well. And you know, you kind of hear those things when you play a competitive game. Like when you lose to someone like really good, like early on, you're kind of like, okay, like that's a loss that like I can handle. Like we'll move on from there. Because then you find out that person goes top 4, and you're like, I lost to that guy first round. First round I played that guy. I did it. I was his first win. You know, like I kind of feel justified. It's like, all right, I played a guy who really knew what he was doing. You know, and he did. He did really well, and congrats to him for getting up to 3rd there.
Wow, your mental resilience is way better than mine. The last time I went against a top tier player and got dismantled within 2 rounds, I was like, why am I even playing this game? And then I had a beer and I remembered.
You just got to look at it as what's really helping your MOV or SOS, because you play stuff like that.
Yeah, very much
sure.
So.
The pretty lies we tell ourselves.
Yes, I may be 1 and 3, but I'm one of the better 1 or 3.
I fought the best of the 1 and 3. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So my second game, I believe, was against Andrew, who was playing clones. He had Yoda, some beefy Wookiees, a couple phase 1s with some Z6s, and we were playing Sabotage, and. I had R2, so my thoughts when I play those games with R2 is it's like, all right, tap my evaporators, defend those, kind of like get in a hunker position, and then like try and load R2 into that bus and like run him into the end zone to like get that extra point to try and win. And those Wookiees with Yoda was just like, oh, hey, you guys should probably run twice and get up there into melee with those Rebel troopers that are on that VAP. And he was on me super fast, and he was running the I think it's the Wookiee Warriors that have charge, and he ran those straight into melee, hacked away a complete unit of Rebel troopers, then guidanced again with Yoda into the second unit of Rebel troopers, hacked them completely to pieces. So in one turn, one unit killed 2 of my Rebel units, and I was like, well, that evaporator is now wide open for tapping.
Yikes.
And I was like, this is not how. And I had Luke kind of running kind of out to the side to go pick up some other Wookiees that were trying to flank, and Luke just got tied up there too long. I mean, those Wookiees, three health each. It's like, holy smokes, like that's a lot to chew through. So it's kind of too late for me to pull Luke out of that mess to come try and fix what I had gotten myself into in the other evaporator. But Andrew played that really well, and like the kind of the thing of the tournament for him, he said, was people were always going, oh, I didn't know Yoda could do that. Oh, that's like it was just more and more. He said he kept hearing that, and I definitely had one of those moments because Yoda was on that evaporator, and one of his cards lets him do 2 actions, standard actions. So he was like, I'm going to tap this evaporator twice. And I was like, well, that's game. I was like, I don't know what else to do right now. Yeah. So it was,
Yoda, 250 points, changed my mind.
Yeah. He threw Yoda on
salty.
Chewie, and Chewie like ran in there and basically just like dropped Yoda off right there at the VAP and was like, I'm going to tap this
Spike the
real quick.
football.
Yeah, basically. So Luke didn't really get to do a whole lot for me in that one. Yoda did score, but I think the total points was like 6-4 or something like that. So it's still a really good game. Andrew did a really good job.
It sounds like an interesting one at the very minimum.
Yeah.
But game 3, that was the one that
not so
you
much.
came close to.
Yeah, no, game 3 I played against Matt. I think he's Mallow on the Discord. Super nice guy. I think he was telling me this was his first actual tournament to go to. But I run into some shenanigans. I didn't realize I had hopped Luke over. He was playing a CIS list with Maul, some Magnas, Ion droids, or Ion spiders, and then a couple B1s with snipers, I believe. So he had some good range on me for that list. But I popped Luke out too early. I thought I had shot some standby Alpha 1 droids, but come to find out there were standbys on Maul's scouting balls things I didn't see. And they they had a standby. So Luke jumps out there and he was like, "Yep, that standby is going to trigger." And I was like, "What standby?" And he was like, "That one." And I was like, "Oh, I did not even see that." And he was like, "It's okay. It's just Maul's droids. Like it'll be fine. You know, 3 damage comes through to Luke, and it's a suppressive weapon." So I was like, "Oh, that's not cool." Now I'm in the middle of this whole entire army with 3 wounds already.
Ooh.
And then Maul just burst to speed over there and was like, "You jump out here. Everybody shoot at that guy." And so Luke died, and then like he went towards R2 and killed R2 really quick, and I was just like, yeah, this isn't going my way at all. Plinking me at distance with everything, so yeah, it just didn't work out the way I wanted to on that one. So, but Matt did a really good, like I said, really good job on that game, using Maul really effectively to get rid of Luke. So yeah, congrats to him for that win. It definitely at that point I was like,
did
okay.
we have 3 lightsabers in your We had Yoda. We had Maul. Who was in the first game?
Luke. Yeah, it was a
okay.
OP Luke. It was a mirror OP Luke kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Dude,
yeah,
so many Force users. That's great.
The presence of Force users was crazy. I mean, there was a lot that were there. There was a lot that, I mean, I would say, I don't know what the actual numbers were, but just from what I was seeing, I felt like it was about half and half on people who brought Force users and people who didn't. So it's kind of cool to see that more people are.
That's pretty good, you know, basically compared to where it was like a little while ago.
Yeah. I think the only one I never really saw was Commander Luke, because I saw both Vaders, I saw tons of Op Lukes, a bunch of Mauls, a couple Dooku's, I think 1 or 2 Grievuses.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. Anakin. Kyle Dornbos was playing an Anakin clone list where he was fire supporting Anakin's lightsaber with the Z6 and like
that's gross.
That old chestnut
damage. Yeah. And then I think a few Obi-Wans, but not a whole lot. So yeah, a lot of lightsabers showed up for sure, which is kind of cool because I'm a fan of lightsabers and Force users, so I think that's really cool.
Okay, but Game 4, Revenge of the Zane.
Yeah, so
did you do four games in one day?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I don't know if I ever find out a tournament's doing that again, I might be like, yeah, no thanks, because we started at like 9 a.m. or 9:15 was when the first round started. You played one round, then you had lunch, then you came back and you played the next 3 that finished. If you played till time, you were finishing at like 10:15, 10:20 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be scraping me off the floor.
Yeah.
I've done 4 rounds in one day before.
Some of the early LVOs with the 4 rounds were rough, so I was glad they switched over to 3. But
yeah. Well, and what was kind of sad about it is like you finish and you're like everybody's exhausted, everybody's ready for bed, everybody's hungry, but everything's closed because it's almost 11 o'clock at night. So it's like unless you happen to have something stored away or had something ordered or somebody picked something up for you, then like it was 11 o'clock at night and you're like, well, I'm going to bed with hardly anything. I had brought some like protein cookies and granola bars and stuff, and like I think there were 2 nights that I was just like had a beer and a protein cookie and went to sleep. And like
you head downstairs with those, sell them for $10 and you pay for your trip.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And so
bribe your round 4 opponent, you just be casually eating that in front of them like,
Did you do it for 2 Scooby snacks?
yeah. If you concede, I might hand one over.
I'm just gonna leave this one on the table over here and walk away.
Yeah. But
okay, so you guys are just absolutely exhausted, punch drunk, 4th round.
Yeah. So 4th round,
happened?
I play Shelby, who I think he goes by Shelby the Tall on Discord because Shelby is tall. Shelby is so tall that he brought his own stool to sit on because the chairs that are at the tables are too low for him to get up and get down off of. So he has his own stool. So I was like, props to you, man. You know what you're doing.
Actually, as a fellow tall person myself, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because those tables.
Yeah.
My knees would love that.
He had a nice chair that had like nice padding on. I mean, like it was perfect for him. I was like, dude, that's good forethought there. So Shelby was playing clones. We were playing Hostage Exchange, and he had Rex, a clone commander, 2 Barks that I think were just naked Barks. I don't think he had anything on them. Set of ARC troopers. I think a full set of ARC troopers that had Echo in it, and then some clones. Some Phase 1 clones that had 5s, and then a couple other just phase ones that he had with him, kind of scattered, and R2 and C3PO. That one was a grudge match. I mean, we were literally just picking units off the board left and right. I think when the game ended, I had my AA5, Luke, and R2D2 left on the table because everything else was dead. But it turned out I had we basically switched hostages. I shot all of the guys holding his hostage or mine, and went over and claimed my hostage that was his, and then he shot everything off mine, and I kept like moving a unit to try and pick up that one, and they'd move out there and everything would shoot it, and that unit would die, and then the next unit would go and grab it, that one would get shot up and they would all die. And so I was just like, I just kept like kind of throwing more stuff that way to kind of like hopefully keep the fact that I had the top one almost secured, like as a distraction. And it came down to the last thing. We talked about it afterwards, so I wound up winning that game. I think it was 2-1 because he would have scored with R2D2, and that would have been his only point because I scored with my R2, and I had that one hostage. But if I had tied up his phase ones with fives with one rebel trooper left. I had the leader was like, I'm just gonna run in here and punch these guys up, and like he kept surviving melee with them. And I had told him at the end of the game, I was like, if you had disengaged instead of fighting this guy, I was like, if you probably disengaged, did that speed 1 move here, then on the next turn activated them, done their speed 2, you would have been in contact, and you could have claimed that one, and we would have tied and gone to points, where he would have beat me because he had killed so much of my stuff. And he was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that, but it was literally down to the very last wire, just knockdown, drag out, like really good game against Shelby, and he's a super cool guy.
It's so rare those last round games are so intense. Holy cow.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, all right, whatever. If I go 0-4, like, at that point I had met a whole bunch of guys from Virginia, and we were all kind of hanging out, and they were like, I was, after each round we'd meet up, how'd you do? And I go, 0-2, 0-3. And so after 0-3, we were all going, submarine. And the joke was, if it came down and I was like really losing, that I would just start playing standing orders and just be like, this is all I got, here we go. And then like at the very last minute be like, here's my 1 pip and my 2 pip that I was just holding back for whatever reason. But no, it was a really good match against Shelby. But 4 games, man, that was just thinking about it, that was so tiring, playing 4 games in a day. 3 games is like perfect. But no, all my opponents were great. Everybody was really cool. So yeah, that allowed me to play the next day kind of just free and casual.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah.
How many days of gaming did you get in total there? So you did Thursday, you did Friday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 4 days of gaming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
okay, that's a lot of Legion.
4, 4, 8, 9, 10. So I played about 11 games of Legion
nice
over the weekend.
So it was the Saturday event then?
Saturday. So Saturday was day 2 for everybody that was, made it past the first round. But for those of us that were in the fun squad, we got to play on Unnatural Resources.
Yes, this is what I wanted to hear about.
Yeah. Unnatural Resources is uncanny. The shenanigans that can happen. Griffin was running that one, and literally we'd be playing, and he would just stop. He'd be like, Legion players playing Unnatural Resources. If this happens, this can happen. And everybody's going, what? Are you kidding me? That can happen. And so the way it sets up is you're basically set up in advanced positions, but you don't scout forward. You're just in that like L-shaped block on each corner. And then there's 7 tokens that are laid out across the game board, kind of evenly spread. And the objective is to get a trooper unit within base contact of one of those vents. And at the end of the round, you score for every guy you have touching a vent. And so there's 7 of those across the board. I think the game stops whenever you get to whoever gets to 14 vents captured first.
Interesting. Okay.
So it could rack up pretty quick.
Yeah. And the vents give you cover 1, so kind of like a smoke grenade. So if you're in range 1 of a vent, I think you get a cover 1 from that.
So low-profile units love holding these.
Yes. Yeah,
they making plans.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because I just brought my same list that I played competitive with, so I was just kind of like, I don't really know what this is structured for, you know. And initially, I was like, wow, this really isn't going to go my way. Once we started kind of working things out, and then my opponent was winning. I was playing against my buddy Ray, who's Bitsy Bandits on Discord. We had just decided, like, yeah, it's a fun game. Like, we'll just play against each other to just like see how this goes. And yeah, I wound up like suppressing the heck out of him with the Dianoga. So the Dianoga starts off in the middle of the table. You put him, the red player puts him at range 1 initially, and then whenever you start turn 1, whenever you throw out your command cards, whoever loses priority then moves the Dianoga range 2 wherever they want.
Oof.
So it's kind of nice to play red player, move it towards yourself, and then lose priority that first round so you can push it straight into your enemy's lines. Because if he's scouted anything forward, you're already in range 1 and you're going to start doing damage to him with the Dianoga, which is what I started doing just by accident.
We're going to start an advanced tactical series, Zane's tips for Dianoga play.
Yeah. But everybody, it was so cool because everybody that was coming by was like, oh, I've already got like ideas for like making a Dianoga model with the tentacles and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm pretty excited to see like what people are going to start putting out there. But yeah, the name of the game with the Dianoga is Suppression and Wounds. Whenever it moves within range 1, so if I'm controlling it, I push it into range 1 of my enemy. Every unit in range 1, you roll 1 roll of 3 red dice. If you roll blocks, you get suppression. If you roll surges, it's an auto wound, kind of like force choke, just automatically wounded. And so you roll 1 dice pool for all the units. So if you've got 5 guys and you roll 3 wounds, every unit loses 3 wounds.
Gross.
So yeah, what happened for me is I rolled, I think 3 times in a row, I rolled 3 suppression on like 4 different units. And so at one point I took some pictures of it. I had like 8 suppression on one guy, 7 suppression on another. I wound up panicking off his Krennic, Death Troopers, Shore Troopers. Callus almost panicked but played one of his command cards to let him recover. And then his mortar happened to rally enough off to not panic. But I just kept throwing that Dianoga back at him. He'd move it at me. I'd take a little bit. Like he'd only roll 1 or 2, and then I roll it back at him, and I'd be like, "Here's 3 suppression," you know. So he was really taking it. But
what a time for your dice to get hot.
Yeah, right. Perfect natural resources. And so it was a lot of fun. I suppressed a lot of his stuff. The game, as far as points was concerned, he had 6 and I only had 2. But everything was starting to panic off the board for him, so I was starting to move forward. But we were also just kind of casually playing, talking to everybody that was there. Because a lot of the guys, I think it was like 12 or 16 of them had a first round bye on Saturday that were playing in that competitive tournament to like make sure everybody kind of equaled out in the games. And so a bunch of them still had to get there early to check in, but then they were just kind of wandering around talking to people. So a lot of them were over there looking at what we were playing. So we were just kind of interacting, hanging out with people, not, you know, super like, oh, I gotta get this Dianoga in there to win, you know. And so we only played like 3 or 4 rounds, and then we're like, all right, we're good, you know, it's lunchtime, let's go eat, you know. And then we just kind of hung out the rest of the day, walked the convention, saw a bunch of the awesome vendor booths. Bought things I probably didn't need, but that's the way it was.
I mean, that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah. No, I my buddies got me into, they got me some X-Wing stuff. I got some cool brushes. Yeah, just a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on there. It was just awesome. But yeah, Saturday was just kind of a hangout day, watching everybody else play, which was nice to kind of just kick back and not have to. I think we still stayed there till 10:30 because we were still like watching the final games, seeing like who's going to tomorrow for the finals, and then just helping with tearing down tables and stuff like that. Because as a con winds down, you know, things start getting packed up. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's great if you can do that. Sounds like, honestly, one of the better days you can have there. Have some nice, fun games, and then watch some people that are way better than you play.
Yes.
See what they're doing and hanging out and chatting with everybody. So, yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. And then the last day, Sunday, was the team event. And then the finals for those guys who did amazing, which I think top 4, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was... Gorshade got first, and then Luke was second. Zeus Juice was third, and then I'm not sure who fourth was. It Evan?
It was Evan.
Yeah.
Wow, good job.
Yeah. So those and all those guys. I mean, they were playing amazing matches. I know Evan kind of went there with this Vader lat list that he was kind of like joking about, doing really well, and then he did really well, and everybody was kind of like. He was kind of the underdog of the convention, I would say, because everybody was going, "How's the Vader lat doing? How's that Vader lat? Like, is Evan over there? Oh, how's his game going? Like everybody was really intrigued, to see how well Evan was doing during the tournament. And the fact that he went so far was really cool with what he was playing.
Everybody wants Vader Copter, but nobody believes in Vader Copter.
Yeah. Evan's faith definitely was in that list, and it showed. He did a really good job with that. But yeah, the team event, my buddy Ray and I teamed up for that one because I signed up for the event without a teammate, and I had my rebels, and then I had brought some droids and some clones because I was like, if somebody's open and needs a partner, at least I have 3 different things I can try and play for.
Wow, yeah.
And then it actually turned out that David Zelinka, Endless, was there, and he was playing team, but he didn't have a teammate. And I was like, and he was playing clones. So I was like, well, David, I've got my clones. So if you find a teammate, they can use my clones. And so the guy he was playing, they were playing a Natural Resources together. His name is Patrick. Patrick had never played clones before, so they teamed up. I gave Patrick my clones. They went 2-0 in the team event. So I was like, yeah, my clones are worth
beautiful.
Something.
Yeah.
And then Jim Martin, who they had the terrain building contest for everybody making tables, all fantastic. Jim's was, the moment Jim set it up, I was like, this is easily my favorite. It was a nice Scarif board with, he had a handmade ship, and it was absolutely gorgeous. But Jim had a buddy who had rebels, and he didn't have rebels. So I was like, well, Jim, here's my rebels. So Jim played my rebels. And then I played my droids with Ray, and we called it Sith Glow Sticks because it was Dooku, Maul, and Grievous.
Wow, nice.
And Cad Bane. So it was like, yeah, pretty much everybody we could throw out there. And we went 1-1 that day. And yeah, the team event, that first game you're playing, you're like, all right, yeah, we're playing. And you realize how long, because we were playing full 800 points each, so 1,600 point game.
Those were long games, yeah.
Yeah, well, and Ray Slowski, come on, dude, I love you, but on the last day, he was like, I love chaos, and this is what we're playing. So the first game was Disarray, Minefield, and Bombing Run. And every player had 3 bombs.
Oh,
so yeah, so there were bombs and explosions all over the place.
Wow.
And there was some guys here because they gave out awards for kind of creative team. They were wearing old school aerial pilots, with the goggles and the hat and the jacket.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They were both wearing those, and I think they were running 4 lats total, and in 6 units of speeder bikes, so 12 speeder bikes on the board. So when Ryan is calling out what we're playing, they're like, yeah, Bombing Run, okay. Oh, Disarray, yeah, okay. It was just feeding into what we were going to be playing, and so we're like, you guys must have tipped his hand or something.
Yeah.
And so they had no problem playing that game. They said it was a lot of fun. It was just chaotic, just playing that. And then the second game was hostage exchange. So everybody got a hostage.
And
then I believe it was advanced positions. No, danger close. And and war weary. Yeah. So we were droids. So we were kind of war weary. We don't have to worry about that so much. But yeah, the last team games, you just, the last day of the con, you're just drained, you're trying to add up things in your head, and you're doing stuff. And so on that last game, Ray and I were we're just sending it, just everything, just
go, push it forward.
Just rush the middle. So turn 1, Maul's dead, Bane's Cad Bane's, everything is just getting plinked off the board, and we're we don't care, run it in there. It came down to the very last roll. Ryan was calling time, and I had the timer up, and he was like, time, and I was like, no, I've got it on my phone. It still says 2 minutes. And he was like, oh, it does? And I was like, yeah, that's what it says here. And he was like, well, keep playing. I'll watch it. And so he was keeping an eye on it, and it literally came down like we just had to activate and get Dooku to activate to choke the guy holding the hostage and push Luke off of him or something. And it was like, and it worked out, and like that was the game. We were like, oh my gosh, but it was
wow.
Yeah, it was really close. We played Carlos and Will, and those guys were super nice guys, super fun guys to play against. But yeah, that last game, I mean, at that point, everybody's energy is just gone. You're trying to help pack things up, and you're just like, I stood there with a tub of terrain probably for like 2 or 3 minutes just looking at it, and then I was like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, like that place, I mean, they broke everything down really quick, and it was over before it seemed like it started, when you looked around. But it was, I mean, like I said, it was fantastic. I highly recommend going to Adepticon next year if people can, because it's its own experience, being out there.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, it sounds like you had an absolute blast out there.
Yeah.
And man, congratulations to everybody who was able to make it out and have some fun. And that sounds like a really, really good event.
Yeah.
Dan, we should go next year. It's just looking at me. Well, Mr. Hot and Frosty, thank you so much for coming on here and talking about your experiences there. Any last minute like high points, things that happened, or favorite vendor hall thing, or anything that you want to share last second?
Yeah. So we got a bunch of sparkle dice. That's
kind
of the thing.
More sparkle dice.
Yeah. So if you go with the going rate on eBay right now, which is two sparkle dice is like roughly $100. Basically got like $1,600 worth of sparkle dice.
Jeez. It used to be pre-LVO. It was 3 for $100. Wow, I expected more.
Yeah, it's not that
out
way
there.
you're flooding the
Go,
market. I still got mine in the baggie down there with my stuff. So
that was one of the things we all helped cut and divvy up the first day. Brandon was having us put everything in a bag, so it looked like we were cutting crystal meth because we had these boxes of white and red sparkle dice that we were
little
putting in
baggies everywhere.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. Like people were walking over and we're like cutting them like into the bags and like stacking the bags and like perfect things. It was definitely like a crime lord thing going on.
Yeah, just standing there in your underwear so you don't try and steal them. Yeah.
And Brandon's standing there going, yeah, see, we're gonna cut the dice like this. Divvy them over that way. So that was really cool getting a bunch of those dice. I now have a ton of them. And then fun story that happened to me. I had some beers. I had 4 beers, kind of holding them all together by the bottleneck, and I had a 5th beer that was stuck in my pocket, my side pocket, and I was walking through the vendors taking the beers over and realized my legs started feeling wet, and I was like, what's going on? And I looked down, and my beer in my pocket is foaming out of the can into my pocket. And these pants are water resistant on the outside but not on the inside, and so it is running down the inside of my pants, but you can't tell. And so I'm like standing there like and so there was a booth, and I was like, can I set these beers down? And the gallery was like, yeah. So I set my beers down, and I'm like, I spilled my, I take the 5th one out, and there's beer just running everywhere, and I'm trying to like guzzle that and get it taken care of. And everybody's like, oh, this guy over here is a professional, look at this guy. And thank God she was like, I've got a roll of paper towels, do you need them? And I was like, yes, please. So she pulls them out. I immediately like paper towels, just shoving them in my pocket. And when I stick my hand in there, it's just a pool of beer in my pocket. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous, and it's like running down into my shoe. And so I like have my pant leg rolled up, and I'm like stuffing my hand up my pants, like drying from the inside, and like it was just ridiculous looking. And so as I'm standing there, I look at her, because you can tell she's just like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. and I'm like, and it's a game booth that's there, and I was like, oh, well, what game do you sell? Like, what do you guys have going on here? And so she starts telling me about it, and it's a game called Free Blades. That they had this really gorgeous map laid out on their table that was drawn by the guy who did the Game of Thrones maps.
Okay.
She said they got him before Game of Thrones did. So she tells me, there's 15 different factions, and this is the kind of world that they live in and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then like I'm looking at the models as I'm like drying myself off, and I'm like, wow, those models are absolutely gorgeous. And I'm like, I'm gonna come back. Let me deliver this and get this taken care of, and I'll come back. And so I wound up going back over there and got a couple starter boxes of the Freeblade stuff. Got some of my buddies that I had met there. I got them into it, so they got it. And so it was kind of funny.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
She was like, this was the best place to spill a beer. And I was like, yeah, it really was. Like, it worked out really, really well. So I got some really cool like metal die cast figures to put together for that game. So everybody was super cool. Definitely a fun event.
Awesome. Well, dude, thanks again for coming along and chatting with us. Where can people find you if they want to chat with you more?
Oh, let's see. I'm on Instagram as Frosty Ferg. I'm on the Discord as Hot and Frosty.
Frosty Fergalicious.
Yeah. My witness. But yeah, those are the two things I'm mostly on is Instagram and the Discord.
Cool.
It's also Hot and Frosty is also my Xbox and my Steam gamer tag. So
there you go. If you need to get some Call of Duties going.
That's right.
All right. But yeah, big thanks to Zane for coming out and talking to us today. That's going to do it for this episode. So we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. And if you have any news, questions, or feedback, you can always email us at legionoutriders@gmail.com. Stop by our Facebook page where Dan is assiduously putting up all the news that we get at facebook.com/legionoutriders. Or you can find us out in the world. Dan, where can people find you?
Either a Dan Tech on the Discord or hanging out in your streams.
Thank you. Yes, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/captain_archer or at grn_archer on Twitter. Thanks again, Outriders, and we'll see you next time.
This concludes the current episode of the Legion Outriders podcast. You may cultivate a tactical advantage by observing the Outriders on Facebook or Twitter at Legion Outriders. Wisdom advocates subscribing to the podcast. Acting otherwise is reckless.